Hello, hello, hello. It's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Sunday, September 2nd. Welcome to Eric McKain Live. I'm your host, Eric McKain, the broadcast that salutes, appreciates, and totally dedicated to all those good folks behind the scenes of our entertainment business, where every journey has a story and every story had a journey. Today, we have a master bassist on the show today, and I'm very happy that he's here. Mr. Del Atkins. Hi, Del.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you?
We'll be talking to Del about his upcoming performances, his views on the music business. So let's get right into it. Del went to Fremont High School. He's actually a very old friend of mine. I'm a couple of years older than he is, though. But
just a couple.
Nah, I'm actually more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you now? 32?
Thank you very much. We'll keep it there.
All right. Well, we'll just stay in our 50s. I'm not going to tell you exactly.
Okay. Good.
But we're definitely past that quarter century mark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Del went to Fremont High School. We're both alumni of Fremont High School, but he transferred over to Locke High School. So I don't know if you considered you a pathfinder or you a saint. Were you a little
I'm both.
saint?
I'm actually both.
Yeah.
I represent for both.
Yeah. Well, let me give you a little background on Del. Del is, as I said, a bassist, producer, arranger, conductor, songwriter, studio musician, everything. Del and I actually played with DJ Quick. We started to do a couple of records with him, and Del went on to do James Ingram's after I left the band, and Ernestine Anderson, and my favorite, Rudy Ray Moore.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Also, Del, give me a little bit on this, because you were in 48 Hours, the Eddie Murphy film. I don't know if you guys remember that film, but it was a very big one back in the 80s, right?
Yeah. I was another 48 Hours. The Busboys were in the first one.
Oh, right.
The second one is really interesting how that happened. I was just called for the session, and so I was to play for the songs in the movie, and the guy came in the studio and said, "Hey, you guys want to be in the movie?" Sure, why not? That one little 3 or 4 minute scene turned into 9 days shooting.
Really?
Yeah, downtown, and so my 5 minutes of fame on the screen.
Oh, no, you got a lot more than that, my man, because that's only the beginning here. I mean, your career has been very versatile. As I said, DJ Quick, Warren G, Exhibit, and not to mention the legends of jazz that I've known you play with. But as I said, I remember you at school, and you were kind of behind the scenes. You were just like, Del, nobody really expected you to just blossom out like that. Then I went on the road, and I came back, and then you were like this monster bass player, And so, I always thought, I remember that time we were taking that flight to Japan. Who were we working with, Karen Wheeler?
Karen Wheeler, yeah.
And,
from Soul to Soul.
Soul to Soul.
Yeah.
And I was talking to you because I was still working the Pointer Sisters, and we came over, and I had time to take that trip with you, and we talked, we got into it, we caught up on old times and stuff. But man, I said, damn, I was very impressed. So that was cool. And I said, I thought you always had like this old soul,
Mm-hmm.
And
I've heard that before.
Yeah, a lot of cats agree with that. Do you think that came from all those performances with Willie Bobo and Les McCann? And
I would say so. Being at that time the youngest in the band all the time, a lot of wisdom was bestowed upon me. When I was working with Les, Les was, touring Europe, riding the train. They would always lay on you the history of the music and the whole process of being an artist. And I always, sucked that in. I always took all that to heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of all our training is the older cats teaching you, how the music is represented and how to represent the music, how to interpret the rhythms and the feeling, to do what we do, that thing that is associated with us and our contribution to the music, that cool thing, that funky thing,
Yeah.
that hip thing, you know, how you bring that out of your soul.
I hear you, because we were very fortunate to have a great mentor at Fremont High School with Reggie Andrews.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
He was definitely exposed us to a lot of things in the industry, and I'm sure that's how you met Willie Bobo, right? From
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Reggie, when he was coming up, he worked with Willie Bobo, and Willie would always come to the school and do different programs. So, yeah, that's exactly how I met Willie.
Well, let me move on to this other thing here. Tell me about this production that you did on Patti LaBelle. You produced a gospel album, right?
I did 3 songs I co-produced on her CD, The Gospel According to Patti LaBelle. And the project was brought to me by Dean Charles and Sammy McKinney.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy was very close to her, and he pretty much A&R'd the whole record. And the funny thing about Sammy is Sammy grew up in the neighborhood around the corner.
Really?
Yeah, in South Central. And then when he left that area, he became a big songwriter, and he wrote for many people. And he was very close to her, so he brought the project to me, and he and I and Dean Charles produced 3 songs on that record.
What about the film Get on the Bus?
Get on the Bus, I worked
Spike
with.
Lee film?
Yeah, Raymond Jones. Great.
Oh, Raymond turned you on to that?
Yeah, Raymond, that was his
God
production.
bless his soul.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. So you got this versatility going on here between the hip hop. You're doing film, you're doing TV, and obviously you're doing records, which we'll pull up his CD in a few minutes, called Basic Instinct. Del, where did that motivation come from, and how were you able to bounce from one style to the next style?
Well, it's always been, the Latin rhythms has always been in my psyche from the Willie Bobo experience.
Right.
So I've always heard that and felt that, So that's part of the record. When I came into the industry, the funk revolution was happening. The Brothers Johnson, Larry Graham, Sly and the Family Stone, all that stuff. So that's very much part of my musical journey as well. So I am writing in that area as well. As I've always liked beautiful melodies.
Yeah.
So I tried to combine all those elements into this record.
And on bass.
And on bass,
Yes.
yes. The bass is traditionally known as a backup instrument, but I would always hear things, but when you're in a band situation, your responsibility is to lay the foundation.
Right.
So, getting to do this record, I was able to lay the foundation and play some melodies and some soloing out front.
Well, you got over 50 records under your belt here. Some of them are hits, some of them are near misses, but it's 50 records that you've performed on, and that's over that.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of bass, how you doing on your upright?
Great.
You practicing that stuff, Del?
I'm practicing the upright. I'm playing it. I'm actually, last year I did a tour with Clay Aiken, and I played about 70% of the gig on upright. And we toured from Florida all the way to San Francisco.
All right.
On a tour bus.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been on a bus in a long time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was in the winter though. You come out and there's snow all the way up to the door,
Oh man, speaking of that, give me some history on the electric bass, because we know that the acoustic bass was the axe of all the cats in the 50s and 60s, and then the electric bass came out.
Yeah, the electric bass, the concept of the electric bass it derives from the acoustic bass.
Mm-hmm.
Same basic concept. Many of them have 4 strings. And during the 50s, Leo Fender came out with this idea to make an electric bass sort of like the guitar.
Right.
And for many for quite a while, it wasn't respected on sessions. They didn't believe that it had all the low end. Monk Montgomery was one of the first electric bass players to take it on as a full-time instrument, and there's many great recordings of him. Even in the 60s, they would have both instruments on records. All the Sonny and Cher records and some of the big records, they would have the acoustic bass and the electric bass because they didn't really trust that it had all the low end.
Right.
James Jamerson, of course, the Motown bassist, one of the greatest
All those hits at Motown.
basses in history. He was originally an upright player, and then when he started playing the electric as well, he had this big sound to it, and that kind of changed things. So that's a little bit about the history of the bass.
Well, no, what do you got over there? 6 strings?
This
on
is
that?
5-string.
Oh, you got a 5-string.
Yeah.
But you've seen cats with 6 strings, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Let me look at your hands. Yeah, you're not so big, huh?
No, not so big. You know, you don't have to have monstrous hands to play this instrument.
I just busted your balls.
Well, you know.
So, what's going on? I know you've been doing a lot of. Well, do you remember that time you showed me the video of you doing conducting, and I think it was something up in Napa Valley?
Right. I did a concert for PBS with a singer named Terry Bradford, and we did it in a symphony house there.
Yeah.
And so we used a string quartet. So we took all of his pop songs. And
Did you do those arrangements too?
Yeah, I did a lot of those arrangements.
Now, where did you learn to arrange?
I first started writing in high school, actually,
Yeah.
for big band and marching band. So I became familiar with the concept, the idea. And from there, you know, throughout my career as music director in many situations, I've had the opportunity to continue to write. Lately, I've been writing some special pieces for string quartet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so that's been fun. And actually, next year I'm going to do a concert with all string quartet stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool, man. So, can we talk about the diabetes film that you did and the Japanese tsunami thing?
Okay.
Is that open?
Yeah.
Right. Well, talk about. Well, let's go to Japan right quick because you were part of fundraising and helping some of those tsunami victims raise money for.
The relief fund.
Right.
Yeah. There was a project called Jazz for Japan, and on this project, it was like a We Are the World for jazz musicians, and we came together and did this record in 2 days, and all the proceeds benefited the tsunami victims in Japan.
You went to Japan. You didn't try.
Yeah. No, well, actually, we did the recording here at Capitol Records.
Uh-huh.
Myself, Marcus Miller, Ricky Minor, Steve Gadd, George Duke, many, many more people that I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, we did the recording here.
Mm-hmm.
And later we went and did a concert, 2 concerts, maybe 3 concerts there.
Really?
And the live concert consisted of Tom Scott, David T. Walker, Ndugu,
Yeah.
Chancellor on drums,
Our friends.
Clarence McDonough, Hubert Laws, and Al Jarreau. Yeah, so we went and of course they were very receptive. It was a very warm feeling to do that.
Cool. All those are friends of ours.
Oh yeah.
Got to get them on the show too. That's the plan. Talking about recording and live performances, what's your take on, and some of these films that you did already, I know that you've used, and you have no prejudice at all towards drum machines and electronic sounds.
No,
But
okay. I thought you wanted to go into that.
I do want to go into it, but I know that you're an engineer, a very qualified engineer, a very good engineer. But what's the take on live performances versus electronic performances as far as using live instruments?
Yeah. I think that, they're apples and oranges. Well, I got into the industry right when computers were coming in, so I got the best of the live thing and the live training, and then when the computers came in, I was right on top of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at the beginning when sequencing started happening. There were not many people you could call. You had to call some guy who created the stuff. As a matter of fact, the first sequencer I used didn't have a loop function that you could lock into place. To make the loop, you had to step on a foot switch. And if you didn't step on that foot switch in time and tempo, your loop would be off.
Yeah.
Because drum machines were not MIDI then. They had what they call a clock pulse out. So you took this clock pulse, plugged it into the interface, and it would start the rest of the stuff. So it was weird. But to make a long story longer,
No,
I was at the beginning of this. So I took to it, quite well, and it's been a part of my process. But I still believe that live music is more timeless.
Right.
You can listen to something created in 1985, and everybody was using the same sounds and the same drum machines, and it kind of dates it. If you want to do something more organic and last longer, real instruments bring that to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can always get locked into time zones with stylistic ideas as far as the drum beats and the sounds and the type of drums. Sizes of drums change. People used to take the bottom heads off, and it had a certain thing to it. Now everybody went back to the heads closed in. And I don't know if you remember this, but during the disco period, before the drum machines caught on, they would record the drums one instrument at a time. You'd start at the beginning of the tape and you do all kick drum. Then you go back and do all snare. And they did that so they had perfect separation and they could make edits to make these disco records. I
remember those days because I was playing cha-cha and mambo all the way through for 15 minutes and some of this Donna Summer stuff. That's interesting. Man. Anyway, Del, I know you've been doing a lot of community work as well in the community, and you still working on your master's?
Undergrad. I went back to school, and since I had this experience in audio engineering, I thought I'd get some paperwork on it. So over at Dominguez Hills doing that.
And was that with Reggie too, or did Reggie has nothing to do with that?
No. This is something on my own.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll be right back with Del Atkins. We're going to listen to his latest CD, Basic Instinct. And I think, Del, we got a surprise performance here. He's not just holding that thing in his arms for nothing. But anyway, we'll be right back. You're listening to Eric McKain live on the RMCOnRadio.com. Okay, we're back. And my guest today is Mr. Del Atkins. Del, you're going to do a special performance in here for us, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to play a little something, a little bass solo piece that I do, that I started doing a few years ago. And when I do my solo things with my band, I always do this song. And it has a deeper meaning than just the notes itself, but I think some people may recognize the song.
Feel free, my brother. time, man.
All right.
Lift every voice and sing.
Lift every voice and sing.
Our black national anthem.
That's right.
Del, I'm going to talk about, thank you for doing that, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And I really appreciate you coming out today. Let's talk about Basic Instinct. That's your latest CD.
Yes.
That's bullshit.
What?
We've been doing that CD. How old is that CD, Del?
2006 years old.
Now,
So
we played on that CD, Del. I'm telling you, and I'll be honest with you, I'm your friend, I'm your buddy. We need to come out with a new CD.
that's right. We're gonna get in the studio, and now that I have you saying that, and this is a time that I can ask for your donations in your performance. So you'll come and play on my CD, right?
I will definitely do that, and I'll feel
For
very
half
honored.
price.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to get this on record.
Well, if you don't have a budget, I'll do it for free.
Uh-oh. Okay.
We'll get one, though. But anyway, Del, you got a live performance coming up, right?
Absolutely.
You can talk about it?
Yes. I'm going to do a show downtown at a nice restaurant called Nola's. And this show is funded and put on by Live Music Movement Foundation. And they're a nonprofit organization that's all about the proliferation of live music.
Mm-hmm.
Good live music, I should say. So we're going to do a Sunday afternoon concert from 5 to 9. And Nola's is, whoever's listening, is 734 East 3rd Street, Los Angeles, downtown, 5 to 9.
5 to
And
9.
if you hear this and you come up to me and you come to the performance, the first 5 people that hear this and tell me that they heard this on this program will get a free CD from me. How about that?
Basic Instinct. Be right there. Yeah. Del, we want to talk about some of these remixes that you did as well. So, Barry White.
Barry White. The whole remix thing, I did a lot of remixes. I was working with a couple of producers, and we would go in, and the remixes worked. They came into the industry in an interesting way. Well, first of all, their idea was to do a song for the club. I mean, do the song that had already been released, but they wanted to do it for the club market. So they would get these producers and DJ types to do to take the song, take the vocals, and redo it for the club. So one producer I worked with was Larry Robinson, and he had quite a run in these remixes. So we did everybody from rock to you name it, Whitney Houston remixes, Duran Duran. I did all kind of remixes. And what's interesting, some of these remixes they liked so much they would put them on the record, on the release.
Really?
Because another way record companies would use these, if they didn't like the original production, this gave them another chance to get a sort of another take on the same record that they kind of liked, but they wanted a different thing on it. So that's how some of those records actually made it. Those remixes made it to the record.
Well, I'm missing jazz, traditional jazz as we know it. I mean, that's where both of us came up pretty much on that. What do you think is happening with the music business now, and where do you think it's going to go here?
Well, I think...
Well, that music at least.
I think live music will always live because when people experience it, they feel it and they get it. So it's about us continuing to put it out there for their enjoyment and getting the word so that they can come hear good music. So it's been many changes in the business and how it's put out there, ownership of it, and how the record companies are finding their way in this new frontier of technology and the changes that it has brought about.
Well, speaking of ownership as well, what about publishing and stuff? Yeah, because I know you got the record company, your company.
Right, right. Well, you know, as we know, publishing has always been a mainstay in the business. You being a writer, owning your own intellectual property, and continuing to benefit from the income that it creates. Of course, with the internet and a lot of the file sharing and downloading, that has affected a lot of the revenue that artists that belong to artists. Basically, people stealing music and the artists not being paid. Yes, that has affected it. There are still many ways that people are getting paid. The movie industry has been pretty on top of things for sync fees and publishing that way. But yeah, things have definitely changed.
Well, we talked about a couple of things with some friends of mine, and we were talking about music supervisors on TV and film that are the new A&R guys now. I mean, like the show Entourage. Mm-hmm. I mean, all the music that's on that show is licensed. I mean, what's your opinion on that? If you get a tune on a show, a popular show like that, especially more of a younger crowd audience, should we say, that could make your record blow up.
Absolutely. I mean, exposure is exposure, and whatever brings that attention to your music is absolutely good. So, however you can get it, happening, make it happen.
So, what's Del Atkins going to do?
Well, I'm going to continue to do my art because I am an artist.
Yeah.
I will always do my art, and I will always put it out there for people to enjoy and for me to enjoy myself. Now, this may sound a little self-centered, but I did a concert at Guidance Church, and I had wrote a song for this concert. It was a peace concert, and all the music was based around peace ideas. And I listened, somebody put it on YouTube, and it was the first time I heard the song back.
Yeah.
And I loved it, if I may say so myself. It was my own composition, but to hear it almost brought tears to my eyes. So, yeah, I will continue to do the art because that's what we do.
You have all those great songs on Basic Instinct. I mean, some nice melodies and stuff on there. And basically, you wrote that from your experience growing up, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got a tune on there called Grape Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. From the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Part of Grape Street goes through Watts and through the projects, and this was considered across the tracks because the train is it kind of divides the neighborhood, and they had this was just an area growing up, a famous area for music. I mean, if you think about the history of Watts and Charlie Mingus and some of the other greats, that come from that area.
And folks, on that CD cover is a picture of the Watts Towers there, which we were talking earlier about community work. You still do work on there as well, right?
Yes, I'm the artistic director for a project that's being built called the Watts Star Theater, which is a 4-screen movie theater, a public facility.
Really?
And it is also will have a training program in music and film. And we have a building attached to that.
You got your hands in a lot of stuff here, young man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always been my thing to, give back and to...
And Del, by the way, folks, Del does more gigs than any musician I know a week here. Speaking of live playing, I've never seen anybody hustle like that before.
I enjoy it, and it's how I eat. So, so you will see me. You may see me anywher. At a bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, wedding, a divorce. I played a funeral a couple of weeks ago, actually. And actually, it was very beautiful,
Nobody we know, eh?
No. It was a repass, and what's better than smooth, tranquil music to, make it through that transition.
Well, speaking of true tranquil music, I guess we can go to a break right quick and come back. And Del and I think I'm going to play a tune with you, Del, huh?
Great.
Yeah. You're listening to Eric McKain live on rmconair.com. Okay, we're back. We have another special performance with Del Atkins, and I'm going to join him and sit in with him, see if I can hang with him. All right? Anyway, Del, please. It's great. Oh, man. Thank you, Del. Thank you. That's going to conclude our show today, and I really appreciate all of you tuning in. Del Atkins, thank you very much.
Thank you. Don't forget to come to my gig September 9th.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that gig right quick.
Yes, I must.
Do you know by memory?
I don't know the address. It's called Nola's downtown.
Right, Nola's Restaurant, downtown Los Angeles, 734 East 3rd Street, Los Angeles, Sunday, September 9th, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., right?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Del, again. Felicia, thank you very much. You're listening to Eric McKain live on the rmconair.com.